Yes, so okay, so I'm back now. Let me invite yeah, hi. So Petrina, I'm hoping you're able to see me now and maybe you can join. Hi, sorry for the delay. Would soon start. Yes, so I think this is much easier. We are so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I've stressed you this morning. Oh,
Can you hear me?
sorry. Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, great.
Yes. Sorry.
Sorry about that. For some reason, it wasn't allowing me to request to join. And then when I chose the last notification you sent, it finally allowed me to do it.
Ah,
Apologies for
Yeah, I felt the phone would be easier. But I didn't want to use my phone because the screen is bad, gone bad a bit. So, but
oh,
we'll
I
manage it
know.
like that. Yeah. So,
Energy.
yeah. Hello, viewers. So, thanks for joining in. Um, this will just be a short, educative video on, our mental health and suicide. Yeah, we know that a lot of people go through depression, anxiety, and the rest of them. But mostly because of the way our society is, they are not able to voice out. You see, or the shishane, everybody keeps whatever is happening to them to themselves. You can't speak out because when you do sometimes too, people will tend to kind of, use it to insult you. So at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's better maybe you just keep it to yourself, that kind of thing. And then we have so many things that happen to us individually. Knowingly or unknowingly, you may ask such questions and maybe it could trigger some things in people. Yeah, I'm assuming now, like me, for instance, this is a personal, I mean, example. Maybe you post something on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not married. Someone would just write under the comments, go and marry. Like, you see, so these are the kind of things we do, that worry a lot of people, but they can't talk. So you are the expert today, and you are going to tell us. I mean, you dig deep into it for us within this few minutes that we have. So yes, this we have here with us Petrina Adusei. She's the founder of MBS Care. So when you go to that page, kindly go and like the page. She has some educative videos there. Like myself, yesterday I was there all through. I listened to the videos on IG too, and she's really doing a great job. So please kindly go to the page MBS Care. Then you like the page. I'll type it in the comment section. Yes. So Doc, please introduce yourself. Hey, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm right. Please introduce yourself. Do the proper introduction.
Yes, my name is Petrina Adusei, and I'm a clinical health psychologist. I have a private practice called MBS Care, and I am very passionate about mental health. So I don't just do it for work, but I live and breathe mental health. Yeah, that's it
Oh,
about me.
all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thanks for accepting to be here with me this morning. Yes, so listeners, thanks for joining in. And today is Nkrumah's birthday, and that's why you see me in my kente headgear. All right. So without wasting much time, let's go straight to the discussion. Please leave your comments in the comment section, and any question, and she would give some answers to them. Even if not now, probably after the live, you could type in. She's always there, and she would give a reply, when needed. Yeah. So in simple terms, as a clinical health psychologist, what is mental health? In simple terms.
The simplest terms I can use mental health is health of the mind. Basically.
Health of the mind.
Yes. So I like to give a bit of background about it because we're very misinformed about what mental health is.
Okay.
I like asking this question whenever I do a talk. I ask people, oh, how do you say mental health in Chi? And without fail, every single time I hear about Damsen, right? And so there's this conception that mental health is about severe mental issues. But I like to explain it this way. If I'm to talk about physical health right now, right? And I say to you, oh, Anita, my physical health is not really in space, right? What can I do to improve it? Every time I ask this question, I get answers like exercise more, eat healthy, all of these, good resources to use. But when I say to someone, nobody automatically thinks, oh, okay, her physical health is not in a great space. Oh, she must have diabetes, or maybe she has cancer. People don't automatically go there. But when it comes to mental health, the assumption is that if I say my mental health is not in a good place, I'm experiencing some severe mental health disease. But that's not the case. So issues that have to do with mental health range from stress, heartbreak, lack of motivation in life, not knowing what to do with your career, all the way to the serious cases. So it's just basically what's the state of your mind. That's what mental health is. There's nothing negative about mental health. Physical health is not a negative word. Mental health is not a negative word either.
All right. So she's in essence she's trying to tell us is that when we mention mental health, don't have those perceptions there. About them Sebi. Because the other day I was on a TV program, and the person called in and was saying something, and I'm like, it is quite different from Abodam Sem, because when you take it to the Abodam Sem now, that means it's really, really gone deep. Mental health could just be even, something little can, put your mental health at risk. So let's get this right, and let's stop linking your mental state to madness. Yes, thank you, Doc. Okay, so we are linking this to suicide. Of recent, there's been a lot of suicide in Ghana. The other day, I think a teacher committed suicide. The other time it was a student, although that one we still don't really know if she did it herself or probably someone did it. I've not heard anything about that. But is it normal to have suicidal thoughts?
Okay. So the word normal, right? In the space that I work in, I come to realize that the word normal doesn't really exist, right? If more of us were honest about the types of thoughts and feelings and experiences that we have, you realize that the things we call normal might actually rather now become abnormal, and then the things that we think are abnormal will start to become normal. So to say that is it normal to have suicide thoughts is I would rather take the stance of is it healthy or unhealthy?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because as to whether it's normal, when we describe something as normal, it means it usually occurs. And a lot of us don't talk about, our deep, dark places when we're very low. We don't share these things because, like we said, our community, or you'll be shamed for feeling or thinking the way you do. So let's look at it from the angle of healthy versus unhealthy, because it's quite common for people to get to a place in life where they're really struggling emotionally, and thoughts of ending their lives come up. So when people are in a very difficult space, the thought of your life ending definitely comes up, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are a number of people who don't go to the next stage of, okay, how would I end my life, and if my life is to end? So we look at it like that's the bad one. But if you're in a situation in your life where your thought process is the only viable solution I see is my life ending, then you're really struggling, right? And a lot of people have had those thoughts. I have been in a space in my life where I wished my life would end, right? But the thing that kept me back, sometimes I posted this recently, fear, this idea of what's on the other side waiting for you. So it's not that I'm so strong, so I didn't do it. But a lot of us, we are just afraid because of religion. Because in our Bibles, if you're a Christian, it says suicide is a sin. But it's quite a common thought process people experience.
So it is healthy. That's what I would say.
No,
I wouldn't.
it's unhealthy.
It's unhealthy. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying.
But
Rather than look at
life experiences brings about such thoughts.
Depending on your situation, when you are in a very dark place, it's not uncommon to think about it as an option. No.
Okay. 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 I see. I see. I see. So who is likely to be at risk? Since you're saying that when you're in, such a situation, it's not unlikely, maybe you won't think. So who is likely to be at risk with such thoughts?
Okay. So people who suffer from depression are likely to be at risk of having suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation, right? In our community, one of the very interesting things is that we see depression the way it's been presented to us by the Western world. Somebody who's sad, who can't get out of bed, who's sleeping all day. But our society doesn't allow that, right? We don't have things like unemployment, we don't have things like mental health disability support. So a lot of people are walking around functionally depressed. A lot of us are struggling with depression, but it doesn't manifest the typical way we see it in movies. So we think, oh, depression is not a thing in our culture. But it manifests as anger and irritation, right? And so somebody who's struggling with depression is more likely to have suicidal ideation than somebody who's not. But because we look at depression as I have to be in bed all day and have difficulty getting out of bed, then a lot of people assume that, okay, then I don't have depression or I'm not struggling with depression. Men, so the interesting thing about the statistics when it comes to suicidal thoughts or suicide is that more women attempt suicide.
Wow.
However, this is the very interesting thing. More men complete suicide. So more men die from suicide than women.
I see. I see.
And that is such it says so much about our culture because one, men are not, it hasn't been normalized for men to talk about vulnerable feelings. Fewer men get diagnosed with depression than women do, and fewer men seek help for it than women do. So when you look at the statistics, you find that more men die by suicide than women do because they complete
the thoughts.
Exactly. Someone who has been through trauma and abuse, especially childhood trauma and abuse, very high likelihood as compared to somebody who has not. People who have spent some time in prison, right? Because some of the experiences in there, especially people who have gone in innocent and have had harsh experiences too, there's a high incidence of suicide in such a population.
I see. I see. Wow. Quite revealing. Yeah. Quite revealing. Yeah. Sorry, you're using an earpiece, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So can you talk without the earpiece? I think there's a feedback. Would it be possible?
Oh, it's very interesting. I think the earpiece is connected to my laptop. It's not even connected to my phone.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, okay. I was thinking maybe the feedback was from the earpiece. Okay, all right. So that was something, I mean, revealing you just said there. So more men complete the process, I mean, the thought process, let me put it that way, of suicide. But more women rather, think about it. But it's the men that rather complete it. Let me see. Oh, okay. I see, because in our society, men are not allowed to, I mean, kind of speak out, because Oye Bema, Oye Bema. That's slogan, you're a man, you're a man. So you don't have to cry, you can't do all those kind of things. Even if your mother or your father dies, you have to keep it in you, but I think that's a misconception. So men, please speak out and then cry sometimes. Men also cry. All right, all right. Okay. So are there certain people more prone to it? Maybe a group of people, like, let me say, maybe, because I'm an introvert, I'm more prone to maybe suicide, or are there some particular people that are more prone to it? No. Okay, okay, that's good.
There is people who are prone to have suicidal ideation or die by suicide are people who have had certain life experiences that are from their point of view, right? So it's not like there's a personality trait, and that's the interesting thing about introversion and extroversion. So let me just say a little bit about that. People assume that introverts are like low self-esteem, they're sad, but being an introvert or an extrovert has to do with where you draw energy from, how you recharge. So
Oh,
introverts, they recharge alone or in small groups of people that they feel comfortable with. But introverts can be very self-confident, can like to socialize and stuff like that. There's no one personality trait that you can say, okay, a person like this is likely to commit suicide. Rather, environmental factors like I said before, trauma, abuse, going to jail, um, substance abuse, sometimes.
okay, okay, okay. So substance abuse comes in here. Oh, all right, all right, all right. So are there some maybe common things you have been seeing patients, you have been interacting with people every day-to-day life in Ghana? I mean, are there some people, or let me say, are there actions or common actions you see us put up as Ghanaians or as a people that maybe you as an expert, you've seen that it is wrong, because it could trigger someone or another person to, I mean, maybe have that thought or even commit suicide. What are the kind of actions you've seen us do as a people? I mean, in general, as Ghanaians or as Africans, let me put it that way.
I before I answer that, I just wanted to chip in something. So one of the things that we're doing is we're steering away from language like committing suicide, right? Because
Okay.
commit is usually associated. So because it's been criminalized, if a person is really struggling as an option, they're not criminals.
So we shouldn't use the
But
word
that's
commit.
exactly. So a
You
person
are
dies by
you are
suicide.
breaking off a bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's breaking off a bit. I think it's the network, your network. Okay, so we shouldn't use the word commit. That's what you're trying to say now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
Yes.
what word should we use rather?
So a person dies by suicide.
Oh, okay.
Or
Okay.
take their own life, but they don't commit suicide because it's not a crime. It's a cry for help.
Hmm.
That
Okay. 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 I see. Okay, go on then. Okay, so what are the everyday actions we see that can, make someone die from suicide? Yeah.
Or someone have the thought of wanting to take their lives, not make them die
Yeah.
from it, but you know. So we talked about some of them, especially when it comes to the men, right? The whole
Yes,
stigma
yes.
around crying and asking for help and feeling sad and feeling hopeless. When we shame people who are struggling, it makes it harder for them to even reach out for help. It makes it harder for them to share what they're going through. So we have to be very mindful of that stigma and shaming. That needs to stop. Another thing that is very key. So I mentioned things like trauma and right.
Yeah, you mentioned trauma.
Yes, this is something that I'm very, very passionate about. Parents, parents need to be very intentional about taking care of themselves and their mental health and doing better because a
Please,
lot of
can you repeat?
parents
Please,
have
can you repeat that? Parents have to be
things
what?
out. They need to do better about taking care of themselves first
Mm.
and being in how they bring up children. Because there's so many homes, again, as I said, a lot of people who struggle with depression, but then it doesn't manifest the way we think it should. So they're angry, they're always insulting. It's not like I'm to direct you, it's I'm beating my child, right? These are things that we have to be very mindful of. When people go through traumatic things at a very young age, it scars them for life, especially if they don't get the help that they need. So parents need to be
Mm.
very serious and more intentional about their children. That attitude too of covering things up. So in our society is very common where children have gone through some kind of sexual abuse, but it's
Mm-hmm.
that we don't talk. Oh dear, we are praying about it. Oh dear, let's talk about and it's swept under the rug.
Mm.
Sometimes the kids are blamed. You go there. So we have to be very
Yes.
mindful of shaming, about the stigma that we put on mental health and asking for help. Bullying is another very big one. Right. Could be physical bullying or verbal bullying. But when a person's
Mm.
sense of self is torn down because of their appearance, maybe because of a disability, whatever it could be, the person lives with that emotional scar. So that's another thing that pushes people to very dark places or difficult spaces.
Yeah. So you've mentioned sexual abuse. As parents, if someone abuses your girl child, you
Or boy
don't
child,
or boy child, yeah,
according to
because
both.
both can be abused. Yes, some older women abuse younger, but I mean small boys.
And even
So
girls, another thing,
so yeah,
very
so don't say that abusuasem your back or can that we'll go and discuss it in the house. You get it, and then because that's a serious issue anyway, because we have to really talk on that. Mostly that's what they will tell you, that it is a bushiyasem where they fearsem. Even if a husband and a wife have issues, and you, the wife or the husband, you are speaking out, just like you said, the man can't speak out because they will say he's the husband, he's the head of the house. That mentality of head of the house, has got into the head of some men. Then the wife too, when you speak out, it will be as if you are not submissive, or you don't want to be in the marriage, that kind of thing. And then bullying, so verbal and physical. So it's not until you beat someone that I mean abuse or maybe bullying. The way you talk to the person, you insult the person has one eye, excuse me to say, and then you insult the person with that, or the person is maybe not maybe too tall or too short or something, those kind of things. So I think we should mind the way we talk to children, to other adults, our friends, our colleagues at work, and all that. And then even in children, from what you are saying, some children are not as brilliant as the others. Maybe you have 3 kids and one is dull. Then you compare them, right? Can we add that one?
Let me also jump in with that. The idea about one child being brilliant, or that comparison thing too, it's a very big issue. What we need to understand is that people are gifted differently, right? There are some people who, if you give them books to read, they can give you summaries, they can remember what they read, right? They are sharp with words. There are some people, give them books to read, they run away because they want numbers. There are kids who are very creative, engineers, artists. What happens is that we also have a very limited and shallow way of looking at what intelligence is. And then we say, oh, wait, the onya day was school, wait, your doll. But
so we shouldn't even use the word doll at all.
At all.
Okay.
There's a saying I love so much. It says that if you judge an elephant's intelligence on its ability to climb a tree, it will fail woefully. Right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm not a person and you put me in front of numbers, I'll struggle. We have to be very careful.
Okay. So let's stop comparing our children. No child is dull. Everybody has his or her own gifts or talent. Let me put it that way. So no child is dull. As teachers, don't let us say such words to these children. Okay. So from what you are saying, does it mean that children can go into depression?
That's the sad thing. We're beginning to see depression occur much earlier than it previously used to be the case. There are a lot of right now what's happening is that it's not very common among toddlers and very young kids, but early teens, teenagers, it's skyrocketing. It's alarming.
Okay.
And so one thing we have to be very is knowing what the signs are, creating awareness and not shaming. Like, as for you, every day you're keeping to yourself, what's wrong with you, right? The person may, you have to be very mindful of that.
All right. Okay, so assuming I have a friend that's maybe showing signs of depression and anxiety, is there any... Okay, before we go to that, sorry, Doc, before we go to that, does the NHIS cover seeing a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
Psychiatrist, I'm not sure about that. I have to check. And the reason why I say psychiatrist maybe because psychiatrists are trained first and foremost as medical doctors. Places the medical above psychological. And so NHIS doesn't even cover everything under the medical field. But when it comes to mental health, as far as I know, it's not covered. However, one of the things I think even other insurance companies where people are actually paying for their insurance, majority of them, I think currently I know only one actually covers what do you call it? Visits to see a psychologist or a professional. So NHIS, as far as I know, doesn't do that for many reasons. Number one, the awareness of the importance of health, because what happens is that I was having a discussion with my husband today, and he was telling me that what they don't even realize is that some of the things that can be solved by psychological intervention are not being solved that way. So now the person ends up with, let's say, take stress for instance, so prolonged stress to things like hypertension. They'll pay for you to go and see a doctor to get the medication for hypertension, but will not pay for you to see a therapist to work on stress management,
To work on
anger
the
management.
stress, which is a more preventive form. For me, as a
Exactly.
public health epidemiologist and professional, I always want that kind of preventive aspect of medical what's it called, seeking medical help, because when you are able to prevent, then probably you are likely not to even have that condition, or that kind of ailment. Yeah, that's true. So it's a pity it is not covered, but so now that it is not covered on the NHIS scheme, and that probably having to see a psychologist is, maybe it doesn't come cheap, because definitely if I have to undergo a therapy or a session, I have to pay for. You went to school for that. I have to pay you. You get it. So what can we do as a people? The general Ghanaian mentality of, oh, wait, they say nyeshi Marco Chia 100 Ghana ko doctor san bodam there and then kametina me baby. You get that kind of, you see. So what do we do? What can we do?
So let me start with the point. And definitely what you're saying is true. The cost of seeing a therapist can be high, depending on who it is. So when you are working with the government agencies, right, the therapists, they're obviously paid by the government. So the rates that you pay are much lower than somebody who has to rent their space, pay their electricity, their internet, and stuff like that. So it's good to explore both the private and the public institutions, and if you can find one that's affordable for you.
All right.
Secondly,
All right.
private people to, on a case-by-case basis, are willing to work with people who are not able to afford their rates. That's the second one. The third thing I want to say about that is, Anita, one of the interesting things is I have had people I know who say, "Oh, that's for therapy. I can't pay for it. These sessions are expensive, but can you get the same amount of money and chill?"
They take the same amount to buy red wine and a bag, a handbag, and a shoe and Brazilian hair.
But then nothing wrong with these things. Your health and your physical health, your mental health, something that involves investing in yourself for the long term.
Yeah.
So sometimes what I'll say about that, people really need to consider, is it that I really cannot afford it, or the value that I'm placing on it much lower than I place on buying lunch and some drinks.
That's a serious point you've made there, because you that means it's not a priority for you. If it's a priority, you would go and see the doctor, the doctor, the psychologist, or you go for that therapy or the session, but we don't place the priority, or you place the priority on the shoe you're going to wear, or the handbag, or the Brazilian hair you're going to wear. You get it. So I think we should set our priorities right from what you are saying. Now,
right.
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
I'm saying that sometimes we also feel okay paying that to a medical doctor for the medical consultation. But so sometimes it's a matter of that. But then there are situations where people really, like, how they say, I've forgotten what the exactly. So sometimes there are people who really cannot afford. One of the things I'll say about that is, if you have access to the internet, if you spend time on social media, there are so many resources and tools out there that you have access to. So we sometimes Google, how many children does this celebrity have, or who is this celebrity's wife, and things. That same internet, you can actually, how do you manage symptoms of depression?
Mm.
So in the absence of having access, these are some of the things that you can do.
I see. So make proper use of the internet you even have. That's what you're trying. And please, there are good videos, and there are so many things too that are bad on the internet. So make sure you choose the right ones, because you could be indoctrinated or polluted from whatever you are watching or listening to on YouTube or wherever you do that from. Okay, so now assuming I have someone or a friend who is maybe I'm seeing signs of depression or anxiety, what can I do to help the person?
Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, so I'm saying that assuming I have a friend who is maybe showing signs of depression and anxiety, I mean, what can I do to help the person? Is there?
Okay. So there are a number of things that you do. I have people who call me and say, hey, I have this friend, I have this family member that I'm concerned about. I want to gift them some sessions. And I've had people gifts to people for sessions.
Okay,
Can be
okay, okay,
professional.
okay.
But most importantly, one of the things about humans is that we seek human connection. We seek to feel heard, understood, loved, to feel safe, right? And so if you see a friend who is struggling with these things, first and foremost, what you need to do is provide unconditional love and support. No
Love and
judgment.
support. Okay.
That's something that the person who is struggling often finds that it's hard for them to have. Sometimes we go, oh, it's a very sensitive topic. Let me not say. Talk to them and say, hey, I've noticed this. I'm here for you. How can I be of assistance to you? What can I do to support you? What can I do to help you? Right?
Yeah.
Those are very important. And then I've also had people actually research or they'll come, okay, so how do I do? What do I say when the person says this to me? That's how you show concern. If you want to pray for your family member or your friend who you see struggling, that's okay. But let's not reduce people's struggles to a spirit.
Yeah. Thank
Even
you
now,
very much.
that's
They
that's
always
a
resolve, to go to the pastors for prayer or prayer houses. Mpaebɔ, yɛbɛkɔ mpaebɔ saa, but adeko na ɛyɛ nipa kon no, I'm speaking Twi. Sorry, if you're an airway, sorry, but a lot of people understand Twi, and I'll speak the English too. Yɛde mpaebɔ na yɛsɛ bibia, like religion. The religion is too much. I'm not saying that don't be religious. I mean, we are all spiritual beings, but when you need proper help, and then just like she's saying, you rather go to your pastor, who would even tell you that, I mean, some pastors will tell you that when your husband is beating you, stay there because you are a submissive wife. You can't divorce. So, those kind of indoctrination. So let's be careful with how,
let me ask this question. So see
yeah.
all these spiritual people.
Mm. Mm.
Will you say, okay, let me take my broken leg, I won't go to the doctor? We pray, but we still go to the doctor.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So as you are doing your prayer, you have to see the psychologist or the doctor. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So yes, continue, please. Or you are done with on that.
That it's okay to pray, offer support, but then don't reduce people's struggles to spiritual. Because as I mentioned before, um, if take a situation where a girl has been at a young age sexually abused or raped, right? And now what happens does is that they sweep it under the rug. Nobody talks about it. This girl is struggling with feeling violated. She's unheard. She doesn't feel safe. And for years, as a child growing up, she has to deal with all of this pain. Then she becomes an adult and she has difficulty sleeping, her appetite lacks motivation, it's hard for her to concentrate, and then she shares with you, and your immediate response, or he, if a guy went through it, he shares with you, this is what they're feeling, right? Without giving you the background. And your immediate response is spiritual. Let's give it to God. Sometimes people open up and then they agree, they pray about it. But what happens is that it's great, right? If you believe in God or you believe your God can help alleviate some of these things. However, there's years of damage that the person has to be able to find healing, has to be able to now talk about and feel safe talking about, to let it out. When we over spiritualize, we kind of dismiss what people, the struggles people are having in. And what happens is that when the prayer doesn't resolve it completely and the person is still struggling, now they feel guilty because it's like, what's wrong with me that the prayers didn't work?
Yeah.
Someone put a comment in there. She said, God has given us counselors, just the way God has given us doctors, engineers, carpenters. Mental therapy actually is not against religion at all. I put up a post recently, and I can speak to Christianity because that's a religion I'm most familiar with. There's so many texts in the Christian Bible that actually support a lot of what mental health is about.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's take some comments. Okay, Akosia Prempre, thanks for joining. Babite, she said that we take our mental health for granted, and that is very, very true. God has given us counselors, God has given counselors wisdom to help us think through our issues. I mean, that is true. I mean, James Tokbe, thanks for watching from Nigeria. Mustafa Owusu, Sechi, Dennis from Abuja, thank you all, and the whole others. We have a lot of people. I think. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, someone said great discussion. Okay, and then I'm trying to read some of the comments before we just wrap up. Definitely not. It's not all prayer. He said definitely it's not all about prayer. I think that's what he's trying to say. And Akosia also said don't judge. We shouldn't be judgmental. Yeah, thank you. It says definitely it's not all prayer, but it's good to remember there are pastors with very good counseling background. Well, there are pastors with very good counseling background if they are trained. That's what I would say. If they've gone to study psychology or clinical psychology, fine. I mean, that's what I would say for now.
That you said that,
He
because it's
said
very
now
important.
someone Ras is saying that Ras is joining us from Italy or so. He says someone took his life because of 2,000 cedis. Wow. So that means he was owing somebody or the car no amano sebi wekuni. You see, it's something. No, Charlie. Anyway, let's move on. So now you've said how we can help our friends. You know, you can book therapy sessions for them as gift. You can gift it to them. Oh, you know, find a way of telling them nicely so that they wouldn't think that they are going to see a shrink or, you know, a madness doctor. You know, that's what most people would think. So find a nice way of telling them that, oh, I want you to see maybe a psychologist or someone you can talk to, you know, and your talk or your issue won't be out there with anyone because it is confidential. You get it?
Yeah.
They are very confident. Yes, that one day I'm sure of it. They can be, you know, very secretive. So they won't discuss your issue with anybody. Yeah. So now, sorry, go on. You want to say something?
I wanted to say that you can actually even go for the person's first session with them. And you can even say, if you're
Oh,
comfortable,
okay.
right?
Oh,
It's
okay.
allowed.
Okay. Okay.
You can sit in the for them to get a sense of what it's like. When they get comfortable, um, you let them continue on their own. But it's something that can be done.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that you can always even go with the person for the first session. So let's bear that in mind. Maybe it is your child. You can always, be with your child, and maybe your boyfriend or your husband or your wife or, a friend. You can always be with them for the first session. So far, they are comfortable about it. Okay, thank you. So let's wrap up. What resources are available? I think you've even said some of them anyway. You've mentioned the internet, you've mentioned booking a therapy session for someone. They are all, part of it. So, you in your own words, what can you say to wrap up to people? Just tell people something, viewers. What do you want to tell them?
I want to tell people that.
Oh, sorry. Before you say that, sorry. Someone says, I think any human or every human needs psychologists. Even here in Italy, in my workplace, we are given, I think he says they are given some, I'm trying to see this comment. Sorry. Please hold on a minute. Sorry. I'm trying, this comment is of interest to me. I'm sorry. I think he's trying to say that where he works, they are given some time for therapy or something like that, which is, I think, very good. I mean, that okay, we are always giving 2 to 3 times every month to see a counselor. Okay, that's what he said. Oh, thank you very much for that information. But here, our HRs don't really care. They just want you to come to work, do the work. Because there's high rate of unemployment. So if you can't do it, you just go. They will employ another person. They don't even care. Say you have been putting in all your energy since you were employed. You get it. They don't even care. You see, our HRs do very badly. Perform badly on that aspect. That one there, I know very, very well.
Right? The awareness is not even there because they have a certain type of work culture. So that's what they are also like. A lot
Yeah.
of
So excuse me. So they don't even take it serious. You see, it's very bad. And we don't even want to go into what HRs do, please. That's another subject, scroll on it. Audit. Oh, ampa, yeah. Like, it's traumatizing. You go for interviews, they don't even give you feedback. They know they won't employ you. They organize interviews. You are just putting false hope in the person, in people. You get it? These are unemployed people. You make them sit for long hours at the waiting room just because of one interview. You see, all these things, they are not nice. They are not nice. Anyway, we are going to repeat this program, so you don't worry. We have her with us, and from time to time, we'll do have refresher conversations on this. So we are wrapping up. So she's going to say her last words to us. Doctor, please advise us as a people. What advice can you give us? Men, women, children, everybody.
So one thing that I want to say is whatever you're experiencing in life, whatever you think may be far-fetched, you may think that I'm the only one going through this, or I can never open up to talk to anyone. I just want to say that it's okay. It's okay to have the thoughts you have, and it's okay to have the feelings that you have, regardless of whatever it is. Or if you find yourself at any point in time in your life struggling. Again, let me repeat that. If honestly, Anita, we were to be honest about what we go through as individuals, we'll realize that a lot of the things that we shame are actually the norm in our societies. Don't let what other people are saying or what society is saying influence you. You are the custodian of your life, right? So think about how if something gives you something precious to take care of. Do you allow visitors to come in and play with it or anyone to treat it anyhow? No. Think of yourself that way. So if you are experiencing any challenge, you are precious goods.
Yeah.
Get the care that reach out for the help that you need. You are the only one living your life. Try
Yeah.
as much as you can not to look at the stigma and the shame of society and
Yeah.
reach out for the help that you need. Platform as much as you can. Use your platform to create awareness, share, repost, because it's as we become more and more aware, right?
Hmm.
One person at a time, our society will start to look different.
All right. All right. So, we've heard all what she said. What I will just add up is, let's be careful of all what we do and what we say. Um, don't shame people that are divorced or they are having problems in their marriage. Um, you could be having your health issues. Maybe your husband or your partner, has health issues as a man, maybe rectal dysfunction. All these issues, you shame the man, and now sisi munye din, and now say, all those kind of things. Let's be careful about the kind
Because
of things. Yeah. So this may be a man you've been with for so many years, and that you are just realizing, that's so. So let's be careful. Let's be careful. You tell people that may be looking for children, are trying to conceive. You tell them that or maybe they just got married and she's not pregnant, the wife is not pregnant. Then you keep asking them that ben. I was in a church to give them some education on mental health. And when I was talking, I even said I would post it on Facebook. When I got to a point, the women were saying, so that means that's what they've been doing to each other. When you just get married, after 1 month, they want to see you pregnant. When you're not pregnant, then they'll start asking you, da ben. You see, that kind of thing. So when we finished the program, someone came to meet me, and elder in the church was like, what you said, you see, they were all saying, when my wife, we got married, that was how they were treating my wife. And I had to go and warn one of the women that me need dia grobi a ompe me pacho jai me mbisa ni sebium. You get it. You see, so I think we have to be very, very, very careful. And as men,
and
when you have your issues, please don't try and you want to impress any woman. If you have erectile dysfunction, just go to the hospital. Don't go and take unnecessary medication like herbal concoction. They are not even medication, they are concoctions to treat things that that doesn't exist. Go to the hospital, please. So anyway, let's wrap up on this note, and we'll still have more sessions because when it gets too long, we wouldn't enjoy it. So we are going to wrap up. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adusei, for being with us, taking your time out today, being a holiday. You have so much on your hands, but you agreed to join me on this. I'm so glad, and I really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure our viewers too appreciate it. So thank you very much. Thank you. And still hello to them at home. Then happy Nkrumah holiday.
yes.
Yes. All right. So you can sign out. Thank you so much. Bye. All right. All right. Yes. Hello viewers. Thank you for joining in, and we've heard all what the clinical psychologist said. Let's be mindful of our choices, because some things we do definitely has effect on us. Let's be careful with how we treat people around us, especially in relationships. Maybe you are dating someone and you maybe even want to leave the person. Why not have a discussion with the person? You just work out on the person, and the person starts thinking, and it's a lot of things. So please, let's be mindful of how we treat people. Let me put it that way. Our children too can be depressive. So let's take closer looks and listen very well to the kids when they make complaints. They can be abused, both male and female. A boy can be abused, a girl can be abused. So thank you very much for taking your time out to join me today, which is a holiday. Thank you very much, and see you soon with another of these sessions. Thank you. Bye.